Welcome to Optimal Timelines. I am your guide, Sean Collins, in helping you to connect to your most optimal future timeline. So it's going to be your monthly Tarotscope readings for the month of March 2022. And remember, you're going to want to watch two videos, one for your North Node by sign and one for your North Node by house. Now, if you're new to the channel, the reason I use the North Node in the readings as opposed to your sun sign, moon sign, or ascendant is because it's recognized in astrology that the North Node is your life's purpose, what you were born to do and accomplish in this lifetime. So I find it's much more relevant across the board for people's lives. So let's get started on the readings. Okay, so this is going to be your monthly Tarotscope readings for March 2022 for everybody with their North Node in Sagittarius and or the 9th house. So I'm going to connect to the energies and we can begin. I call upon my spirit guides and guardians and the wisdom of my ancestors to bring forth the information that's true and correct for all who see this reading, that it may bring them the most beautiful, happy life possible and set them on their most optimal future timeline. So may it be. Okay, so the spread on this side of the table represents everything from the first half of the month, 1st to the 15th, and this side represents the 16th to the end of the month. And just like last month, I did a book divination for each of the North Nodes by sign and house. And in the book, Astrology for the Soul by Jan Spiller, great North Node book. And what I got for you North Nodes in the 9th house and or Sagittarius was listening, quality listening in order to enhance your life. So the really interesting thing about that is that I feel like what's happening right now this month is there's some confusion around choices that you are needing to make in your life, like emotionally based choices of where you want to go, what direction you want to go. And it could be for each of you, it's going to be different areas of your life or for several different areas of your life, okay? Emotional choices. And this whole listening thing, what came up really strong was, what do I mean by that? Because, you say, oh, okay, I listen. Is when you listen, are you listening and taking it in just mentally? And so what came up big time was not listening to the exact words, but to the feeling and meaning behind what is being said. So with your placements here, okay, you have your South Node in Gemini and or the 3rd house, which is ruled by Mercury. So you naturally have a very quick mind. Communication for most of you comes pretty easy, okay? Basic communication, and you do enjoy complex communication of all sorts, also. But we're talking about quality communication in the sense that you are truly listening to what another person is saying. So, for example, a person can say a very, let's say, basic, sentence. Let's say you're thinking about doing something and the person, might say to you, are you really sure you want to do that? Now, what I mean by actually like listening to the exact words, you're like, the person said, are you really sure you want to do that? And you're like, oh yeah, I am sure. Yeah, I am exactly sure that I want to do that. But what they mean by that, what is implied by that simple sentence was, it's like a warning in there from that. And this was just off the top of my head. It's like a warning. So that's what I'm talking about really listening, is intuitively understand what it is people, when they're talking, what they're saying, as opposed to like just listening to what they're saying and listening to the words and then maybe listening halfway and then thinking what your response might be and how, what you're thinking about it, So it's like that kind of quality communication can really help you. Now, this is what's key. When this month you have these decisions that you may be trying to figure out in your life, in certain aspects of your life, like these emotional decisions. So what you're supposed to do in order to really navigate this and make this successful is, when you're thinking about the decisions you have to make, so your internal communication, are you listening to what just like your mind is saying? So you're thinking, okay, should I do this if I do this and all that? And you're listening to the dialogue going back and forth in your mind and mulling it over. Or when you're asking that question to you, or question to yourself, are you listening to what your intuition and gut instincts are saying? So you're really getting kind of the meaning behind these decisions, the meaning behind the words, and not just the dialogue itself. So the same thing with you're like communicating with people. Now, this first half of the month, there is going to be a situation, and I feel like it has to do something regarding, like, could be money and finances or career, but something to do with like resources, okay? And planning for resources, planning for, where it is you want to go or things you need to do. And what I feel like is going to happen is, within the ideas that are laid before you, there is a direction that's going to be really successful. So what I mean by that is, these emotional decisions that you've been trying to figure out, you've got, okay, I could do A, I could do B, I could do C, I could do D, I could do a whole array of things. It could be any number of things you could do. And within those different options that you have, there is an option that will bring you success. That's what I'm seeing. And the reason it's coming up is for you to be able to make a decision not based on the dialogue that's going on in your head and trying to think of the most logical direction to move, or not to, just pick out what your mind thinks is correct, but what your intuition and heart says is correct. And when you do that, it might not make sense to your logical mind, but when you make that decision from that more gut, heart, instinctual, you're going to see that it's going to be the successful one. So that's the good news, that among these, various options you have, there is an option for success. Maybe even a couple different ones that are even like maybe slightly less success, but there is definitely one for, major success. Again, like, this is really interesting. So we have emotional decisions here with the 7 of Cups. You've got judgment reversed. And this is one of the many meanings of this card, is listening to the call. And what this, a lot of people, don't understand what this card is. But one of the things it is that these people who are rising from the grave, which is a state of unknowing, or like you could say a dead state. And the angel is blowing the horn and they're hearing it. So they were in a dead state of not understanding, and then they're hearing it and they're, rising because they can now hear it. And that's what this is saying, is it's like this whole thing about listening. Are you hearing, truly hearing and understanding the meaning behind what you're hearing? Because that's the key of all throughout your life. When you are brought to a situation, really get it from the heart, instinctual, point of view. So that's going to be the first half of the month. Now the second half of the month, I do see I think a lot of you are going to pass this test. A lot of you are going to get this. And even if people that have this placement that even don't see this reading are going to get it, because a lot of you are at this place. We just finished having the North Node in Gemini and the South Node in Sagittarius. So I think both placements, both the North Node in Gemini and the North Node in Sagittarius, have really went through a lot the past like 18, 19 months, and a lot was learned. And one of the things that I feel is going to happen is, I feel like the second half of the month, you are going to have this healing that takes place from something in your past. Something that had happened in your past, and it could be something that happened, when you were a child with your parents, or it could be like a past relationship. But it's really this opening I see for a lot of you. And if you don't experience, if you find yourself with listening to this reading, and if you still near the middle of March or the end of March don't find like you're able to make clear decisions, and there's still confusion, like emotional confusion in which way to go, don't worry. I mean, go back and just try to, you can even like replay old conversations, and replay them in your mind as exact as you can, what the other person was saying and what your response was. That could be very healing, because you can go back and you could say, oh, okay, I get what they were trying to say now. So I feel like there's like a lot of healing this second half of the month. The advice for this second half of March is two things that are going to really help you. Really focus in on your close relationships, especially any romantic relationships you have, but close. And if there's not a current romantic relationship, it's just whoever's really close to you, family, friends, and whatnot. And also work, okay? And I feel like these areas of your life could be opening up, especially if you're able to kind of make sense of why things have happened in the past. And that's what this second half of the month is. It's like a replaying and healing of things that have happened. So that can be super powerful, replaying old conversations in your mind. As long as it's not like too negative. We're just talking about conversations where you're trying to find out where that other kind of side was coming from. But yeah, super powerful the second half of the month. And I feel like there is this real growth period that is going to happen in the second half of March for you. A real big, like almost like kind of stepping into your power type of a thing, so yeah, go out there, make it a great month. Step into your power. Think about that, listening from heart and intuition as opposed to just the exact words, and get the meaning behind the words, and the feeling behind what people are trying to say to you, and it can be like super, super powerful. So anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and that it resonated with you. Thank you so much for watching, liking, sharing, subscribing. If you could just hit that like button, it helps the algorithms. Much love, much appreciation. If you'd like a personal reading, there'll be a link in the description box below. But yeah, make it a great month. We'll see you again on some more videos. Many blessings.